Cowboy. Cowboy.
What's up there, folks? That was the Kid Rock, Up and Down Your Block. Bobby Ritchie. Been around a lot longer than most people know. This is another episode of Breaking It Down, This Life Ain't For Everybody podcast, brought to you by the one and only, the iconic, the Jack Daniels Tennessee Sour Mash Whiskey, Lynchburg, Tennessee. Please enjoy it responsibly. Never allow underage drinking. My co-host, Alex Crosby's here, and we got to share my little pre-birthday festivities not even a week ago at a Kid Rock concert. And we had a couple Jack Daniels. I'm not going to lie. It was my birthday. Woo. Thank you, Jack Daniels. We were responsible. I didn't want to forget any part of this show. I had seen Bobby or Kid Rock at Sturgis a couple months ago, or whenever Sturgis was in August, I believe, and he tore it up. 240,000 people at the Buffalo Chip. But it wasn't as intimate as it was Friday night. Was Friday night pretty intimate?
Friday night was awesome.
Is it not one of the best concerts of all time?
It is. And I mean, I've heard you talk about it before, and I saw that little clip that you had on your phone from Sturgis, but it doesn't do it justice until you see it. And everybody felt the exact same way.
Everybody in there sold out in 8 minutes, 10,800 people. Obviously, that's a small venue for Kid Rock, but it's a casino show. They pay what they need to pay to get those craps tables and blackjack tables and pie gal going. But, dude, from the very beginning, not one chair got sat on.
No.
I was looking up in the bleachers. They looked far away. We were right up front. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you, Corey. You guys are awesome. But everybody in the bleachers was standing. Like, you could not help but feel the energy of what he puts off. And the thing that I want to start off the conversation about is that it's not happenstance. It's not just like, oh, that's easy. I mean, he's done it a million times. This dude is so focused and so passionate about his songs and his music and his songwriting and his instrument playing and his band, his family. They are so close-knit. That is one of the tightest shows I've ever seen. Like, to do what they do back and forth with him and the DJ going back, and Kid will shut up and that guy will say, and then Kid knows the exact timing. I know that the more you do it, it probably becomes second nature, to him, but they're so tight. You know what I mean? Like, that show was so freaking tight, and it's because they're prepared. They're focused, and they want to give their fans something to go home, and we're actually dedicating a podcast because of the way the concert made us feel.
It almost felt like it was, if he didn't improv so much stuff, you would think it was lip synced. It's that good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I think is a good live. I like a live show for like the improv. But I want a live show to be so good that you sit there going, is this lip sync? Because you don't want to go to a lip sync live show. You want them to be singing, and they are so good and so tight. You almost are going, this has got to be lip sync. And then he'd say Reno in a random song, that it's not lip sync. Or whatever he said, he would improv different kind of words and sayings and.
Yeah, and the character of Kid Rock. Well, yeah. Obviously, he would never do that. But I know what you're saying, and here's why you're saying that, in my opinion, is that when you think Kid Rock, you think of maybe the 90s. I remember when I spent the night at Sally's house, woke up with cotton mouth, couldn't speak, my tongue was weak from yodeling in her valley. Like, when Kid first came out as an 18-year-old, 17-year-old white rapper, that's what he's saying about. He was a little nasty. He was a little bit edgy. I mean, he was edgy. And then he's known for Cowboy and Ball with the Ball and all of these songs that you get the gist of talent and musicianship in them. But until you actually break down his voice, and I guarantee you that he's trained. He has practiced and trained and took lessons and followed tutorials or followed tutelage of great singers. One of them that comes to mind, that when we were walking into the show, he's playing freaking Cinderella, Tom Kiefer, on freaking one of the greatest voices in rock history. And I'm wondering if Kid hangs out with Tom, because Tom lives in Nashville and he's a vocalist coach sometimes. I'm wondering if Bobby Ritchie has sat down with him, because I know that Kid Rock is dedicated to his craft and he has become such a great singer. Before, you agree, he's like known as that kind of like that punk vibe of like hip hop meets rock meets
like
Southern rock,
Insane Clown Posse kind of.
Yeah,
but in his younger days of the white wife beater and braided hair and all that stuff. Just a totally different vibe, 100%.
Yeah, now it's almost like he's classically trained as a vocalist, not to mention his drumming, his guitar playing, his piano playing, his DJing, and his turntables and his scratching, like Run DMC Raising Hell tour in 1986. Peter Piper Picked Peppers and Run Like Rhyme. I saw that with Beastie Boys, Public Enemy, and Run DMC at Lawler Event Center. Yes, sir. But I just think that what you're trying to say is that it was so close-knit, so tight, and the vocals were so good. It's because he's dedicated and so focused on his craft of being a showman, of being a vocalist, of being a lead man, of having a band that is just legit. And it blew my mind of looking around to see the energy, which again, I'm guilty. I took 2 videos that night. Could have taken 100. Right, I know who Bobby Ritchie is. I've been around him. I met him a lot of times. He's a good dude. I know Corey very well. I just found myself like not even taking my phone out, but I was looking around like, y'all are missing it. You're watching it through a 4-inch screen. Stop it. Please stop it. And then after we sobered up the next day and I looked at the videos that my sister-in-law sent me, I'm like, look at how many phones are in the air to remember this night. So again, whether or not you're going to use them, you're trying to, film them to put on your social media or your YouTube or whatever, you're going to remember that show. Watching through a 4-inch screen does not do that show justice. That dude is so live and so all over the place and he didn't miss a beat that night. Not one note did he miss that night.
Yep.
He made every single person in that 10,800 person audience feel like he was singing directly to them, whether you were in the nosebleeds or whether you were front and center.
I looked at I've looked at it for the last few days, social media, because everybody that night, is best show I've ever seen. You could chalk that up to the boozes talking. Literally 3, 4, 5 days later, there's people still posting those videos that you're talking about, and everybody's caption says, best live show I've ever seen, best rock show I've ever seen, best show I've ever seen. It was not it wasn't a fluke. It wasn't, because we're fans of his that we enjoyed that show. That was an unbelievable show. And we just saw Kiss 2 weeks ago before that, and Kiss, they're iconic. Yeah. And that was a ripping show. And it's something to do with it being so intimate, like you said, but you saw him with 240,000 other people, and I think you felt the same way.
The energy. The Kiss show was awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of their lyrics, but I'm a big fan of their showmanship. They make that audience know that they spent their money on the right show, which is a big part of what Kid Rock does, because I was on the, Justin Moore, Justin Moore, the singer.
Yeah.
He had me, luckily, I can't believe I got invited to be on his podcast, and I was on his podcast, the Justin Moore podcast, talking about our favorites, country and hip hop, because he knows that I told him that I love the diversity of music and that hip hop played a big role in my upbringing. 8th grade, I was listening to Too Short and NWA like it was going out of style. Then in my freshman year, Cypress Hill came on, and I was like, who in the hell are these guys? Insane in the Membrane and all of it. But I told him, I just went and saw Bobby Ritchie. He knows Bobby. They hang. I said it's one of the best concerts I've ever seen in my life. I said I've seen some unreal Guns N' Roses shows. I've seen some unreal country concerts. We just saw Hank there a couple weeks ago. We all decided by the end of the episode of Justin Moore podcast that there's the Mount Rushmore country music, and we might have differ on those 4. It might be Waylon and Merle and Don Williams. I had different ones up there: Conway Twitty, Ronnie Millsap, Garth Brooks, Travis Tritt, Jamie Johnson. We all had different names, but the cloud above Mount Rushmore for all of us was Hank Williams Jr. Bocephus. Best of all time. Most underrated guy in the public's eyes, but the most badass musician and songwriter. He wrote like 90% of his lyrics. Whether it was blues or country or rock or bluegrass or twang, whatever he was doing, he's on a different level. So I told Justin and JR, one of the best concerts I've ever seen. Like I could not go through that podcast without telling him how badass this Kid Rock show was. And people are going to be like, why are you trying to sell a Kid Rock show? I'm not. I'm just that fired up, and it's been Saturday, Sunday, Monday. It's been 4.5 days since we watched him, and I'm ready to go again. Like that was how good that night was for me.
JP is not a rock fan. You know, you would never think that he would be into Kid Rock. And I showed him, I'm guilty as well of taking 2 videos. I got his opening intro. I had a hunch he was going to do kind of what he did at Sturgis, and he did. And I'm glad that I got that on video because I like to have that. And then I got the beginning of Ba With a Ba, which he closed with that night, for that.
Oh, was that
powerful? For that My Name is Kid Rock that he blows up so big. But it's funny when I watch those videos, my phone's dipping because I'm watching it. I told everybody I'm not taking pictures. I don't want pictures. I don't want videos. I want to live the moment. I don't care about, I'll watch those videos 4 or 5 times, but yeah, I don't want to be there with my phone up the whole time because people ask, get some videos of it. No, I want to watch it myself. But for a guy like JP to enjoy Kid Rock as well is something.
JP was there?
He didn't go, but he got me those tickets for my birthday, and he listens to Kid Rock. He which is wild to think, that the diversity of that crowd, I guess, is where I was going to go with that because of what you're talking about. He goes from, cowboy to blue jeans and a rosary. He sings, he raps, he's got, some harder songs.
He's got gospel and he's got blues.
Yeah.
He's got all these different influences and inspirations, and you're just like, how can you put this guy in a box?
And then what struck me too is he does that song where he's a guitar, he spins the records with the DJ booth, he sings, he plays the piano, and he plays the drums.
Good too.
Good, legit.
His drummer's such a badass.
Oh yeah, and she's been with him since day one, right? I mean,
yeah, just a stud.
Yeah. But I was thoroughly impressed with that. I think that's what we're talking about. Is just that range of showmanship and musicianship and
unapologetic too. Unapologetic about you don't have to put him in a box. You can say he's rock and roll. You could say he's blues. You could say he's freaking rap and hip hop, R&B. He's got Picture. I think is his biggest hit to date in the United States. I think it went number 2, which blows my mind. I don't know if Kid Rock's had a number 1. He's well deserving of a ton of them. But again, he might not be the most politically radio friendly person in the world, which who gives a shit? The guy can sell out every stadium in America putting on that show.
Oh yeah.
And that's what I freaking loved about it, dude, is that you didn't know what was coming next. And you know what's funny about touring and knowing the concert life is that he probably went to the next stop the next day. I think it was down in California somewhere, and did that same show and blew those people's mind.
Sure.
And I often thought, like, well, what if I was there the second night? Because I've done that. I've watched Zach Brown Band twice at the same venue where they double dip. I've seen Garth Brooks 2 nights in a row. Every concert is special because of the when he set the stage and the aura and the energy. That's what Kid Rock does so well. You might not hear a separate song. You might throw something new in there, but it's his energy and his ability to woo a crowd and to stay so focused on the show, because in that type of atmosphere at a casino, you could play for 60 minutes and probably meet your obligations contractually. Mm-hmm. Dude, he did not quit.
No.
He did not quit. He went from A to Z and freaking blew that crowd's mind like they were the most important audience in the world. And to me, that's important, right? Because I love Bocephus, but I left there going, Hank could have went another 30 minutes, right? Well, I've seen Willie Nelson on a $145 ticket, and he went 50 minutes. Well, Willie's 87. He could barely breathe that night. He was caught, whatever the deal is. But again, their contracts filled, they're gone.
Yeah.
And a lot of artists do that.
And I think Kid went over, which they got that noise ordinance thing in downtown Sparks, and I think he went over, which, dude, when you're in the moment like that, how do you not go over? You know what I mean? I thoroughly enjoyed every bit of that show. There was, I never wanted to go get a beer because
I was standing there telling my group, I'm like, dude, I need to start wearing diapers. Mm-hmm. Now, I remember Richard Christie on the Howard Stern show. He's like, I wear a diaper to my favorite bands. What? You're a 40-year-old man. Well, I just don't want to miss a song.
Yeah.
I don't want to miss a song. And I'm like, dude, I am not leaving this concert.
I literally, begrudgingly, I wanted to go get a shirt because the line was so long when we got there to get a shirt. And so 3/4 of the way through the show, I literally like fast walked all the way around to the merch booth to buy a shirt. Was the only time. Everything else I would just ask someone to grab me a beer. I held it. I didn't wear a diaper, but I held it. And because there was no point where you'd go, okay, I could go grab a, Kiss has some songs I've never heard of before. You could walk away from a song.
Yeah, we were standing in a place at Kiss, where we were like, I don't know, man. I love Kiss and I love what they've accomplished, but they're definitely not one of my favorite rock and roll bands. But I had to go see it.
Oh yeah,
it's the last in this life, whatever the tour's called, End of the Road tour or whatever. And I want to see him. I got nothing but respect for Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons. They didn't have Ace Frehley or Peter Criss there, but it was still a good show. The pyrotechnics and a little overboard the theatricals with the blood capsules and stuff with Gene. But again, great show.
Yeah.
But dude, that Kid Rock concert, different level.
Unbelievable.
That's next level shit as far as a performer goes, and he deserves to have all the notoriety as Entertainer of the Year on these award shows. He lives in Nashville. He's got country songs. Why is he you know why? Because you can't put him in a box.
And I wonder if it's, we've talked about it before on this show. It's just that show business, right? That might hold him down because he is unapologetic and doesn't fit into a box. And, he's a zany character. I don't know if his social media, he was at Junkie, the secondhand clothing store here in Reno. And then, the very next picture, he's holding a handgun, on his tour bus with his guy. He's a wild dude. And some people don't like that, I guess,
But why wouldn't you? That's the thing about.
That's the spice of life, dude.
I know. Why can't you see that this guy has love for all of those different sectors of life? What is the big deal of, why? What would the reason be why you don't like Kid Rock? Could you name some?
I like everything about him. I think it's funny.
They say he's a racist, but
no.
We all know how many friends he has that are not white.
He grew up in Detroit, dude.
The guy is, speaking of that Eminem song, when Berserk, when he brings the Kid Rock part and there are kids in the video, that was badass. But no, it's like he gets this rap he's in the news about Oprah and he's in the news about this. Man, dude, the guy is sharp. He has built a career, he's probably got the most successful bar. The Kid Rock Honky Tonk on Broadway in Nashville is probably the most successful bar. If I had to guess, and I know Al Dean's got his, and Luke Bryan's got his, and Blake Shelton's got his, and Alan Jackson's got his, and there's Tootsie's, which Kid Rock loved. He's good friends with Steve Smith.
We saw him there, remember?
Yeah, remember we've seen Kid Rock at Tootsie's before. I would bet everything I have that he's got the most revenue driving bar on Broadway in Nashville, Tennessee. But he's not country, so what is he? Why isn't he respected for being that? Why isn't he respected for driving that brand that people love? He's got Dean James Jr. in there playing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday night. And Dean just played a Jack Daniels event for us in Lynchburg. Bro, different level shit too.
Really?
Yeah. Everybody from Jack Daniels is walking up to me going, usually people are gone by now. Usually that everybody just makes their shuttle and they leave. Nobody would leave. Everybody was dancing. He was blowing their mind. He went from Allman Brothers to freaking Stevie Wonder to Guns N' Roses to his all of his originals to freaking Prince. He was pulling out stuff where people are just like, this dude is on, and his band was tight too.
Really?
You know why? Kid Rock discovered him and signed him, and freaking he works with Bobby. There's some serious talent and vision with Kid Rock that I just wanted to touch on it because it's where does he fit into the musical picture except a live show? You don't see him getting number one hits. You don't see him in a lot of rotation. The Alabama song did, the Sweet Home song did, right? All Summer Long.
All Summer Long's his only number one hit.
Is it number one?
Yeah.
Oh, you looked it up. So he got number one with All Summer Long.
I Googled it, yeah.
And then he had a picture, I think, went number two with Sheryl Crow.
It didn't say anything about that, but he definitely got it for that All Summer Long song. That was all the way in 2008, I think.
Yeah, was it really? All Summer Long?
Rock and Roll Jesus got a number one as well.
No. On what chart?
2007 Billboard.
On the Billboard chart. Perfect. So I was wrong. He's had two. I swear on Howard Stern, he didn't have that many. And I don't think that interview was prior to it, but a lot of his songs should have been number one. You can't tell me when you're talking setting up shop at the top of Four Seasons. Dude, that song is so clever. What about the Joe C tribute too? What were you going to say? Are you looking at another chart on there?
No.
I know that you're a Joe C fan.
Oh, yeah. That's my favorite. One of the lines in his song is get a sidecar on my glide so Joe C can ride. That's a Harley reference. You know, he's got a sidecar on his street glide so that his buddy can ride with him. He's my favorite. But the funniest part, he ran all those pictures through, you know, and he's showing himself with all the people, and he says, "And the most beautiful women in the world," and it was him and Steven Tyler, dude. I freaking died.
I remember when he did that at Sturgis. I laughed out loud.
Oh my God.
Like, oh God, you know he's friends with Steven Tyler.
That's what I was going to bring up. I wonder if he sang with him, or you know, Steven Tyler's got a badass voice, dude.
Oh well, dude, Steven Tyler crossed all hip hop lines in '86. Yeah. When he did Walk This Way with Run DMC, I listened to it 3 times yesterday. Mm-hmm. No, wait, what's today? Monday? On Sunday, I went to Sushi. I listened to it 3 times off of the Raising Hill album. Aerosmith and Run DMC.
That was one of my favorite videos that used to come on MTV when MTV had videos.
Steven rips that song on there.
Dude, so
Walk
good.
This. But, of course, Kid's collaborated with him. I remember one time Kid was hosting one of the country award shows. I don't know if it was the CMAs or the AMCs or whatever, but he's like, "Hey, and here's my brother Zach Brown." He points over here and Zach's singing on the freaking deal. It's like maybe like right when Chicken Fried came out, maybe, or Sweet Annie or Colder Weather or something. I think he was singing Chicken Fried. And then he's like, "My other brother Jamie Johnson's over here," and the camera switches and Jamie Johnson's on another part of the stage singing. And dude, Kid Rock's friends with all of those guys. All of them. He had freaking Ric Flair at his freaking pad the other day I saw on social media with John Party and Michael Ray and some other people.
Don't you think that you could hang with Kid Rock? Like, dude, that's why he strikes me as the type of guy that you'd go drink beers with him tomorrow. You know what I mean?
Dude, I've been on his cruise several times. Back in the day.
the rocking the most, yeah?
Rocking the Coast.
Something like that.
Dougie Fresh, Mark McGrath, Drake White, Band of Heathens. Missing one, I think, and then Kid. And I got to go up to his suite. You know, I was there with Drake, and we went up there, and him and Drake were becoming better friends at that time. And I got to talk to Kid. I brought him some duck calls, him and his girlfriend, and but I got to see him like in that raw, friendly vibe, smoking a cigar, hanging out, cutting up, bullshitting, rapping, ribbing people, doing what friends do. The dude, I think that the diversity of Kid Rock might intimidate some people because he is. You know, that song Cocky, and you know, about I've been on the cover of the Rolling Stone. Mm-hmm. I met the president when I was half stoned. And just that's his life. He's done all that shit. Yep. And that's so freaking admirable to me that he doesn't cut corners. He believes in his brand. He's so unapologetic. Take it or leave it kind of attitude. I'm not playing your games. I'm not doing it. I'm going to go and show my fans what it means to be an entertainer. And I'm going to show them that these working class Americans that spend 150, 80, whatever the tickets are. Those tickets were expensive for that casino show.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to show them that we appreciate every dollar they spend to come watch our band and every beer they buy, every parking permit they pay for, every shirt they buy at my merch booth. I'm going to show them that it means something to me because you know that he doesn't take that shit for granted. That's what his show and meeting him and being around him and seeing how he treats people, that's what that show meant to me. Yeah. It's how he actually cares about his fans. Because at the end of the day, I'll say it again, he could have walked off of there in 60 minutes. I'm not 100% on that, but I would bet that his contract is like 60, 70 minutes for a casino show.
Yeah. And I mean...
Well, what's the noise ordinance? Isn't it like 10:30?
It's 10 on a weekend night. It's 9 on the weekday night.
So 10 o'clock, and he had an opener that went on at 8.
No. He went on at 7, right?
Oh,
7.
Did he? Tim Montana
I think
did?
Kid came on at 8, you're saying.
I think Kid came on a little before 8. I mean, a little after 8.
Not very much after 8, though. But I think you're right. But he did close to a 2-hour show, right, is what we're kind of getting at.
Well, we have proof on a.
Oh, I guess that's right. Our 4-inch screen will prove us right. Our 4-inch
screen will hear the video that I took to start the concert. The first song was at 8:37 p.m. on Friday when he walked out on the stage with all the darkness and smoke.
And he probably went till 10. I know he went past the 10 o'clock thing.
Dude, just listen to this, please. This was unbelievable. Welcome to the greatest show on earth.
I love it.
The whole freaking concert, dude, from that point on. I love how he stops that song and the dude walks out with his hat and the cigar, and he takes all the time lighting the cigar and shit.
Was that a cigar or was that marijuana?
Oh, was it?
I don't know. I was
Well,
curious
for the purposes of this podcast, maybe cigar. I don't care what he smokes.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
I was just curious what it was too.
Look at that audience, dude. It was, dude. I want to thank Kid Rock, Tim Montana. I want to thank Corey Gearman. I mean, to know these guys and to know the focus they have and the dedication in their craft, that's what it means to me. That's what I wanted to get across of this guy should win Entertainer of the Year. That show right there is better than, and I love Luke Bryan as a person, and I think Jason Aldean's great, and I think that Garth Brooks puts on a hell of a show, but that concert right there, and you're telling me that he doesn't deserve to be in the conversation for Entertainer of the Year in rap, rock, hip-hop, and country blues, you're out of your freaking mind. That is an entertaining freaking genius. Fair to say?
Fair to say. Guaranteed. I'm trying to wrap my mind around. That's what bothers people probably about him. You just said it. He could be Entertainer of the Year in so many different genres. They don't want to deal with it. They can't deal with it. You know what I mean? I guess you could, but it upsets the cycle.
Well, he's my entertainer of 2021.
I haven't seen a lot of concerts this year. It was the best one I saw.
I've seen quite a few.
I know you have.
Quite a few.
Twice, two of him.
Seen him twice. I've seen Hank, and I love Bocephus. I saw Kiss. You know what I hear? I don't know if you heard what happened with Tim McGraw here, but I heard that didn't go very well at that same amphitheater. Did you hear about all that?
Yeah, made Reno even more famous again.
Whoa! And then
somebody told me they thought that wasn't really him up there. That's I know that's a rumor, but do you think those guys ever get like stand-ins and stuff like that? I wouldn't think so.
But I guess he forgot the words to a lot of his songs.
Yeah, said he had been filming Yellowstone for 48 hours and was sleep deprived.
Oh, really?
But if you paid $100 or whatever it is to
how
go
many
see
nights
him,
do you think Mick Jagger's been sleep deprived at a Stones concert?
80 years. How many nights is that? I just saw a video of him at a concert. Can you believe that?
He rips. Him and Keith rip, dude. But again, this Kid Rock audience is not in my opinion, is not a radio hit driven audience. They are a cult following that have followed this man's career and listen to every song that he does, every album, because he doesn't get a lot of acclaim on his albums. If I'm not speaking from a lot of knowledge there. Okay, I don't pick up Rolling Stone or Billboard and read the critics on Kid Rock. I'm not saying I do. But again, he's not getting a lot of airplay. No. He's not getting a lot of spins at radio, if I had to guess. And I don't listen to a lot of... I know you could go on Spotify and probably have Kid Rock Radio. Or on to, what's the other one? Pandora. But...
terrestrial radio.
I don't think he gets a lot of spins on terrestrial radio. No. I bet she hasn't got a lot since all summer long.
Right. I think Bob would have bought used to get some back in the day, on the rock stations, but not a lot.
I don't know what he got with that, but that's the shit that I built. I was listening to Kid Rock in 1993. Proud to say. 1993 when he first came out with that album about the 5 Cent Grits, I was listening to him from that time on. And I know he had a hiatus and he came back, but man, I just had to talk about that show. It's been on my mind a lot of the response that we got. And you said the generational people in that audience. Brad Forsythe's 55 years old. He's been to a lot of concerts. He said top 3 concerts he's ever seen. Mm-hmm. And he's been all over. He's been to Boston with me, to Fenway twice with Zach Brown. And Zach Brown puts on a freaking show.
Yeah, I was going to say
a big time show too. It could be the best show in America. From their covers to their originals to their musicianship, and Clay Cook and all of the different people, all of the different band members that are rocking the Zach Brown band, Jimmy and freaking Big John and Coy Boyles. Like there are some insane. Like I think Coy and Clay and Matt Mangiano. Matt Mangiano is one of the best bass players I've ever seen. They say he's one of the best there is. He's the bald-headed guy in Zach Brown band. Him and Clay Cook went to Berklee School of Music in Boston with John Mayer. They were roommates with John Mayer. Clay Cook wrote like every song on John Mayer's, that's a little bit exaggeration, but like almost every song on John Mayer's debut album.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know if it was Room with a View or Room of whatever it was called, but I don't remember what songs were on it, but Clay Cook wrote a lot of the songs on there. They were in a band together.
Where do you put them with Guns N' Roses when we saw them at AT&T Park a few years ago?
Well, because that was how biased I am about Guns N' Roses.
I know, but that was a good show, even if you aren't so biased.
I saw the original GNR. Well, I can't say the original because Izzy wasn't there, but Gilby Clarke, Matt Sorum, Dizzy Reed, Duff McKagan, Slash, Axl Rose, the backup singers, Teddy Zigzag Andreas on the harmonica for Bad Obsession. Am I missing anybody?
Where'd you see this at?
All over, 1993.
Oh, you
Dustin
saw it
Bones,
multiple times.
multiple times, like 17 cities.
God.
Dustin Bones tour, and then the Use Your Illusion tour when they co-headline with Metallica. Like, I was a groupie, dude.
Right.
I'm not saying I would have done anything with GNR, but
If the opportunity arose.
that show with Axl's energy and his ability to hit different octaves in his voice, he's the best lead singer frontman of all time, in my opinion.
I just when we went to AT&T Park, I don't know what AT&T Park holds, but then they also let everybody stand on the field where we were at.
56,000 that night. 56,000 that night. 56,000 people were in the stadium that night. And I think it holds like 42 for baseball games.
And didn't it feel like you were at the Nugget? I mean, it just felt unreal. And like you said, there's so much energy. You know, Kid Rock had the same thing. We never sat down one time. I don't even know if we had chairs to sit down.
I was pissed off when it ended.
Yeah. But remember when it started, we were still coming up the ramp. They had no BS, no intro, no starting. They just right into the first riff, and they were going.
And I'm not saying that I don't like a little chill. Hey Reno, how you doing?
Right.
But dude, when you have that many songs and you have that ability to hold the energy in the crowd to that standard, dude, just shut up and sing. And that's what Kid Rock did.
Yeah.
He freaking blew our minds, dude. Blew our minds. Like 100%, I will go down in history as saying this, that I've seen the sickest of George Straits. I've seen Garth Brooks do shit in stadiums. That show is in my top 3 concerts of all time with all the GNR songs. With every ballad I've seen sang by Cody Jinks or Jamie Johnson or any Texas Red Dirt musician. Chris Stapleton, I've seen him 4 or 5 times. Drake White puts on a high energy show. Zach Brown is in my top 3 concerts. Guns N' Roses, Zach Brown, and Kid Bobby Ritchie Rock.
Yeah.
I mean that. That show solidified him as one of my favorite live artists of all time.
I hope he comes back.
He's got to. If the Nugget doesn't bring him back for a freaking encore next summer, they're freaking losing. They're out of their mind.
Yeah.
They're out of their mind.
Yep.
Insane. That's breaking it down. Thank you, Kid Rock. Thank you, Corey. Unbelievable time. Unbelievable presence, stage presence. Thank you for the songs. Thank you for the dedication and focus to your craft. Hopefully we broke that down the right way. I'm still on cloud 9 for that show. I'll never forget it. What a great birthday present. Thank you, Jack Daniels. Enjoy it responsibly. Never allow underage drinking. Keep listening to This Life Ain't For Everybody. Check out our sister podcast, The Foul Life, and Where the Pavement Ends. Brand new episodes starting November 2nd, 2021, exclusively on the Outdoor Channel, season 13 of Benelli's The Foul Life. We're with California Waterfowl Association. We have 7 more episodes to share with you. Great stories, great guests, including Brent Cobb. Oh, yeah, we got old BC up on one of them shows on his duck hunt on the California-Oregon border. Again, thank you all for listening. Chad, Alex, breaking it down. Tom, Jake, hit that button. I'm going out with the Kid Rock song, dude. I have to go out with All Summer Long. There's way better ones, but I love this song. Hopefully Kid doesn't get mad at me for doing this. We started the show with Cowboy. We're going out of the show. You heard a little bit of the greatest show on earth live from my iPhone. And we're leaving this episode of Breaking It Down, This Life Ain't For Everybody podcast. Kid Rock, All Summer Long.